Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another Swankivy interview thing. I am bringing ace spectrum people onto my channel and letting them talk about their ace experiences. I'm hoping this will kind of be a new way to get some diversity and some variety into my channel, which has been just me talking to a camera for many years. So graciously joining us today is our latest guest, yaelaed. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm yaelaed. I just turned 32,
Woo!
which is very exciting. I am an artist. I do mostly digital art, illustrations, kind of weird, surreal stuff. And I also have a booktube channel on YouTube where I talk about reading books. And I work at a local tea company. And yeah, I am Arrow Ace and non-binary.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Arrow Ace. This is my first interview having another aromantic person. I'm also Arrow. So we probably have a couple different kinds of experiences with like our relationships and stuff. So I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit. But before I start pelting you with questions, could I just ask you to kind of go through a maybe short to medium sized version of your ace discovery story and how how you figured out you were ace and how that went?
Yes. So it's one of those things where like I look back after discovering it and I'm like, oh my gosh, so much makes sense about my whole life now. I grew up in Oklahoma and I didn't, my parents weren't religious, but it was like, it was just the thing to do to go to church. So from like middle school till I was like 20, I was like really involved with the church. And so obviously we don't have sex until marriage. That's the thing. But like I noticed like around high school times that like I was different because a lot of my friends were like, oh, I can't wait to get married so I can have sex. And I was like, I don't ever want to get married. I had no interest whatsoever. But yeah, I never like gave it more thought until like me and a lot of my friends started to like realize that we were gay or queer, and we all kind of like, our group all kind of like collectively awoke as queer and like left church. And it wasn't until my friend sent me this link to it was a Tumblr thing, was like, I think you're this from like talking with you, this makes the most sense. And it was talking about asexuality. And so yeah, I was like browsing Tumblr and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing, like this is a real thing. And so I started watching all of like these YouTubers, you included, and all these others, and going through Tumblr, and yeah, it was like this great awakening of like, so much makes sense now. Yeah.
Relatable.
But yeah, it's a shorthand.
Yeah. Oh. I like what you said about how so much makes sense like retroactively, because I think a lot of us are just like, oh, I was always so ace.
Right? Yeah, because like growing up, like I never played like house. I never played house or like planned weddings or like did any of that. And now it makes so much sense.
Oh my God. I loved to play house, but I had to be the baby.
Okay, that's
I'm not
fair.
sure what to make of that.
That's the best role, because
Yeah.
people have to take care of you. It's great.
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it was kind of like, I don't know, maybe it was like, oh, I'm an eldest child, so maybe I just wanted a role reversal or something.
There you go.
I don't know. In a lot of other contexts and playing and stuff, I was very bossy, but I don't know. I wanted to be I probably had to boss other people around to tell them how to take care of me or something. I don't remember.
Right? There you go.
I just remember that I didn't want to be the mom. But yeah, it's like, you see these articles, right? Like, oh, everyone dreams of their wedding. I'm like,
no, never did that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I ever met someone that I wanted to marry, which I don't think is going to happen, but if I did, like, I just can't even imagine wanting to go through that, because I hate planning those kinds of parties and it seems so stressful and just it's so
a lot of money.
Yes, you're expected to spend a lot of money, and there's just a lot of traditions suddenly become really important. I don't know. So none of it
Yeah.
really seemed appealing to me, except for maybe like getting to do a weird dance.
Yes. That one thing.
Yeah, just like, going to family weddings and stuff. I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of fun. This weird dance that I learned from my relatives. So I don't know. I literally didn't know that was a thing. And I'm like, I want to learn how to do these weird dances, these group dances, which was basically, like white people line dances. But,
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I didn't know any better. It was just what it was. So, would you mind, like, next, if we talk a little bit about kind of after you figured out that you were ace, who did you talk to about it? Who did you come out to? And in general, kind of, how do you disclose? The subject of disclosure I'm interested in.
Yeah, so obviously my friend who sent me that link, I talked with him about it a lot, and then just like my immediate friends. And then I didn't like ever sit anyone down and say like I'm asexual. I just kind of started putting it all over my like social media profiles and like just started talking about it a lot. And like no one in my family, I think everyone in my family just kind of assumed I was gay, and then when I started talking about asexuality a lot, they were just like, at this point, I was the weirdest kid in my family, so they're like, oh yeah, Yaelaed's just doing her weird thing again. So yeah, I just started like talking about it a lot on social media, on Facebook, and if my family, I knew my family saw it, but they never like brought it up to me directly. And now obviously like people that I make friends with, since it is like everywhere, and I do make videos about it and I just talk about it a lot. Now it's just so broadcasted that anyone who like becomes friends with me is gonna know very quickly. Yeah. And I've never my family, they're very, weird and accepting. So regardless of what I happen to come out as, they would just be like, okay, go do your weird thing over there. I don't care. So
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it was never this big thing where you're just like, oh, I have to tell people, I have to disclose, or I have to admit or something. Like,
Yeah, because thankfully, whenever I like discovered this about myself, I wasn't dating anyone, and I had no like relationships in that way. So that was worked out in my favor. So I didn't have to like sit down with someone and be like, this is how I am, and it's gonna change our whole relationship and this and that. So
yeah.
I like dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I relate to that too, because I'm always kind of, as a default, out because of the kind of work that I do. It's just kind of like very, I've told people, it's just like, oh, I'm asexual and that means this, but it's like there was never like I came out when I was this age or something.
Right. Yeah. It was more of a gradient effect.
Yeah. And I think it's a misnomer for a lot of people where it's just like, I came out at this point. I mean, unless you're a superstar and suddenly one day you tell the media, I guess that's kind of a thing, but it's otherwise for me, I literally don't remember any conversations with my family, like calling them up and saying, I have something to tell you, it's
right. Yeah.
but like you, it was kind of like, it was kind of assumed, like you never really had that kind of thing with anybody, so we just figured that's who you were.
Yeah.
So now it has a name. That's cool.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Not that people that I cared about a lot didn't have some problematic reactions sometimes, but overall I think I was pretty lucky. So
yeah, I have had like people in passing, not like super good friends, but there are always those people that say gross things. Like I've had someone say like, it's only because you haven't been given like a great orgasm yet, and I can give that to you. And it's like, okay.
my gosh, we all get that.
You think
Don't
very
we?
highly of yourself, clearly, but I'm not interested.
Yeah, yep. You're the only one of us who is interested in that. So
Yeah.
have fun. Yeah. Relatable again. I think we may have a lot of stuff in common.
Yeah.
Just a little. But I guess kind of touching on stuff that isn't as much the same. When we were kind of setting up what we were going to talk about and kind of settling on questions, I know that you had talked about relationships kind of differently than I do. I'm aromantic and I'm not partner seeking, whereas you are an aromantic person who does have some kind of relationship that you want. So maybe if you could kind of tell me and my viewers what your kind of relationship situation is and your goals.
Yeah. So I'm polyamorous. So I'm actually dating 2 people. I've dated like up to 4 people at one time. And yeah, it's very interesting, and it kind of came out of left field because I just assumed that I wasn't, like, when I discovered asexuality, I also discovered aromantic because they were talked about, you know, in similar circles. But I was like, oh no way, I'm not that. Can't, obviously not. But so it was actually when I was dating 4 people that I started to watch more videos about it, and the more I was starting to feel like I am this. This makes way more sense for me, because while I enjoy being in relationships, I don't. It's almost like I know queer platonic relationships is like a term that's more commonly used nowadays. So like I like building relationships with people, but not romantically. I don't, and I think it came about when I was dating very romantic people, and it was just like was so uncomfortable. And I was like, why is this bothering me so much? Like they're being very nice and very sweet, but it makes me flinch when it happens. Like whenever people are like super sweet romantically, it just like it feels not good. And I was so yeah, that's whenever I was like trying to uncover what that was all about, and I was watching more aromantic people on YouTube, and I was like, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense, despite the fact that I want to like hang out with people and like build relationships with them and support them and be there for them, but I just don't want to do all the romantic parts of that. I just want and yeah, so like realizing that there's like different types of attraction either as well, of like I just assumed for so many years that if I liked someone, it was romantic, and I wanted to be like in big L love with them, and that was like the goal. And I just like never registered that there was another way or another area where I could be. And so once I started to learn more that did exist, I was like, okay, I will feel more comfortable over here actually than trying to force myself into being in these super romantic. Yeah. And that was very recent. That was like around like September of last year. So I'm still like in the middle of navigating and figuring it all out and everything, but it does feel a lot better.
Good. It's very confusing because as ace people, you know, we find that we want some, but not all of traditional relationships a lot. And so we start kind of picking apart, well, this, I want a little of that and maybe sprinkle a little of that on the relationship salad, but not that. That's disgusting. Get that dressing away from me, you know, and but maybe a little crouton there. I don't know. But it's hard because then people will be like, why are you overanalyzing this? Why are you trying to make yourself special? You want a relationship, but you don't want that, and you don't want this. You're never going to find what you want. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like we have to do that, because if everything that usually goes together does not go together for us, we have to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so much like healing and like wellness that comes from understanding yourself. Like, I mean, growing up, I now know as an adult that I have hypersensitivity, but I didn't have the words or like knowledge of that as a kid. So as a kid, when I was being overwhelmed, like sensory wise, I would just feel bad, but I didn't know what was happening to me, nor did I have the words for it. And like, so as a kid, I just felt bad and bad all the time. I didn't know why. And
Right.
so, but now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I have hypersensitivity. It's because I had a bunch of siblings and I had constant input from my siblings, and I had no alone time to renew myself from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing, like if you are experiencing something in your life and it doesn't feel good, you should examine it and like better understand what about it doesn't feel good so that you can feel good.
Yes.
I feel like there's like, yeah, when people talk about it negatively, about like, oh, you're making up terms and you like want to be a snowflake, and it's like, well, no, I just want to feel good in my life. Like, I don't know why that bothers you so much.
Right. And why are they so preoccupied with what words we use or whatever? They're if it bothers you that we call ourselves by things while we're trying to understand ourselves and communicate with other people, then just don't look at us.
Right. I'm not telling you that you have to be asexual. I'm not telling you that you have to be aromantic and like that you have to follow the relationship models that I want. Like you do you over there. Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
It does not affect your life at all what I do.
Right. And I'm sure that as a person who is a content creator, you have had to deal with people saying that they disagree with what you're making or that you shouldn't have made it. And stop shoving it in my face. And I'm like, sir, you literally shoved my work in your own face by pushing play.
I didn't make this video and then send it to you specifically saying you must watch this.
I know, right? I'm not your teacher making you do a report.
Right.
So,
but people, I say this a lot, people love to have things to complain about. So, you know, they'll find anything to complain about regardless.
Yeah. And, you know, like I can be guilty of that. Sometimes I get a little bit negative as a coping mechanism, I guess. But it's also just, it's cathartic, I guess, to talk about, hey, this is a thing that happened to me and it felt really bad and I'm going to share what happened. It's not the same as I'm going to target someone who is a marginalized minority and tell them that I don't like how they're talking about themselves in a way that affects me not at all. Right?
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. It's really interesting though that the way that you talked about relationships, because when I first started seeing other people's words for what I knew I was like, okay, asexual, aromantic. And I originally saw a pretty oversimplified version of aromanticism that suggested aromantic people don't date, but clearly they do, they can.
Right.
And it's just that they don't experience romantic attraction. So they can have relationships that are not necessarily depending on their romantic attraction to another person.
Indeed.
And so that breaks so many molds. It makes it very difficult to figure out what are we all doing here. So like, I didn't understand the first time that I saw somebody say they were aromantic but dating. And I'm like, what? Wait, isn't that a contradiction? And then I just listened to what they said. I'm like, oh, okay. Yes, those are different needs. Those are different things. And
I mean, even I, when I was like first learning all of this and I was like learning about all the different types of attraction, I was like, this seems, it's like that. There's a scene in Scott Pilgrim where she's like saying all the teas that she has, and at the end he's like, did you make some of those up? And that was me. I was like, when they're listing all of the types of attraction, I was like, did you make some of these up? I was like, this seems like a bit much. But now that I've experienced it more firsthand, I'm like, it actually makes so much more sense. Like I can even look back at like friends that I thought I had crushes on. I didn't have romantic crushes on them. I had like aesthetic or like just like friendship crushes of like, I just think you're a really cool person. I don't want to do anything romantic about that. I just want to like hang out with you. And but before I didn't know that that was an option.
Exactly. I categorize all of my relationships as friendships, but that's partly because I don't, there isn't another word besides like romantic partner or something. And it's like, I'm definitely not that. So I'd rather say friend, but then friendship is so, it gets a real short end of the stick in our society that friendships are always beneath other kinds of relationships. They're just friends.
Yeah.
And
I was listening to this podcast. I wish I could remember what it was called, but they were talking about how that's a real issue. Like, if, let's say, if you aren't married to someone, but you have a relationship with someone, you can't visit them at the hospital. Like, if it's family visiting hours, you can't like be there with someone that you're in a relationship with unless it's like a romantic or it's marriage. And it's like, yeah, friendship really gets the bad rep, even like legally speaking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
It's very hard also just for someone like, I mean, okay, I love to be by myself almost all of the time. So one of my best friends is a guy, a heterosexual guy who lives in town, and we have a very predictable schedule for when we see each other that serves both of our needs very well. We're like, we know how long we're going to see each other and what we're going to do, and he's going to go home, and that's it, and that's what we want. But we're also very much there for each other, like, you know, if somebody needs a favor, or we just, hey, can I call you, kind of thing, we can do that. But neither of us is very like needy or clingy. I kind of don't like those words, but like neither of us tends to abuse that, I guess, or we don't tend to need each other's support all that often. So it's ideal for kind of both of us. And because of how close we are, people have constantly misinterpreted us as dating. And when are you going to get married? When are you going to admit that this is your relationship?
Oh, I love that. Admit. That's great.
It's not, you know, just, I mean, I've probably told this story somewhere else before, but just the fact that, you know, I mean, not to bag on this guy's parents, but when he first met me and he was traveling from another city to see me, they assumed we were sleeping together. And when he's like, that's not our relationship, they were very confused because they couldn't imagine why else he would go to another city for a girl. And I'm like, you can't imagine that we do anything besides sex. Like, you can't imagine anyone liking another human enough to want to go see them unless like, there's sex. What?
So bizarre.
No sense to me. Yeah. It's very limiting, honestly. And I mean, I feel like even if I did have sex with him, it would mostly be the other stuff. That,
right. Yeah.
You know, you can't be doing that all the time. From what I hear, it doesn't last all that long anyway. So I don't know.
Right? What are you going to do with all that other time you had planned to hang out together? You have to have other hobbies.
I guess movies and food. I don't know, but I like the movies and food. So
yeah, that takes priority on my list here.
Yeah. So I guess like continuing talking about relationships, like I kind of want to talk about the poly angle a little bit. Like you had said you're polyamorous and that, you know, you have multiple relationships. If you can kind of outline what that sort of means to you to be polyamorous and how that works better to fulfill everybody's needs for your situation.
Yeah, I mean, it works out great for me because being asexual, the other people that I'm dating can obviously, if they do have sexual needs, they can go elsewhere to find it. And then I can just be at home with a book and not having to worry about anyone's sexual needs, which is great for me. And, and my booktube channel, you know, it's perfect. And also just, when I was discovering polyamory, basically like the thing that really stuck out to me is that like one person can't be everything for you. It's just not realistic. And also like just because you love someone, it doesn't suddenly make everyone else in the world boring and not interesting to you. So like if you meet someone that is also interesting, you shouldn't like feel guilty about thinking that they're interesting or attractive if you experience attraction. Because like, I mean, if you are allosexual, hot people are still going to be hot to you, whether you're in a relationship or not. And like, it's a natural thing and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. And so, yeah, it was just about, there's this thing called compersion where it's like you feel good when someone you love feels good. So that's kind of one of the core tenets of polyamory is that, you know, like if someone that I'm dating is dating someone else and they're like experiencing all these great things with that other person, then that makes me happy too, that they're getting to experience all of these great things. Mm-hmm. And like, just like I don't think one person could provide everything for me, I don't think I could provide everything for another person either. And also, like, everyone has so many different interests. Like, I have like a partner who's really into video games, but he doesn't really want to watch Disney stuff with me. And I have someone but we can watch scary movies, whereas another person I'm dating hates scary movies. Mm-hmm. And like one person I'm dating will ride roller coasters, and like no one else will ride roller coasters. So it's just like all of these little things of like activities that some people do or don't, and interests that other people have and don't. And I mean, I feel like you get to experience more, and to me it's more fulfilling, I guess. And for me, like, it causes way less drama in my life than I feel like being monogamous would be.
Yeah.
Oh,
I kind of have a couple like follow-up comments where feel free to jump in, but I'm just like, I'm agreeing with you on every level here. As an aromantic person who also does not seek partners, I feel like if I was partner seeking, I would be poly, because a lot of the monogamous culture kind of restrictions on what you can do outside of your relationship make no sense to me, and a lot of the jealousy makes no sense to me. The idea that you're not supposed to feel good with other people or you're betraying your love is so foreign to me. So
yeah.
I feel like,
and that's like, I've never really experienced jealousy, and like even when I've been in monogamous relationships before like I knew what polyamory was, I feel like they would try to make me jealous.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work, because I'm like, go hang out with that very attractive person. I don't care. Like, why do you want me to like not want you to have fun? It's just so bizarre to me. Like, why do you want to put me in that role of being like, no, you can't have fun with someone?
Oh my God.
I don't know, like, what? Like, it's just so bizarre to me.
It's literally identical to something that happened to me, where I was dating someone before I decided that I just don't date people because I'm not attracted to them that way. But
right.
I had somebody try to make me jealous by like telling me that he was into somebody else and she was my best friend. And I'm like, oh, good. And he's just like, so you don't have a problem with that? I'm like, no, enjoy, And then she asked me if that was upsetting. Like, she wanted to make sure she wasn't stepping on my toes, because I guess she was interested back. And I'm like, no, please take him off my hands, because y'all kind of, for whatever reason, are interested in doing this with each other at this point in time, and that doesn't affect me. So have fun.
Exactly. It's not, and like, people I've dated in the past, like, I'll like be their wingman when we're out, and they'll be like, oh, there's this really hot person I want to talk to, and I'll be like, okay, I'll like talk you up, I'll help you like get in there, it does not bother me, because like, once again, it's like, there's so many interesting people in the world. I go talk to interesting people, like, like, we're already dating, we're already solid, you don't have to spend your entire night with me. Like, we have all the time in the world to hang out. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, in that situation, I did appreciate that my friend asked me, because she wanted to make sure that I was not going to be upset. But the fact that he didn't ask before he went with her made it really obvious what he was trying to do. So then, of course, he calls me and he's all upset, and he's like, oh, I did something bad. And I'm like, I don't mind. Actually, I knew about it and it was fine. And we basically conspired, like, I mean,
right. So, make it happen.
But like, it was not a great situation in a lot of ways, because he was a jerk, but I had no problem with anything that she did. So it was like, it was just baffling to me that he wanted so badly for me to be jealous. He tried so many times to back me into this girlfriend corner, and I didn't have a problem with any of that jealousy behavior, because I didn't want him the way that he wanted me to want him. So it just didn't work, and it made no sense.
like with so many things, there's like a healthy way to do it, and then there's like a very toxic way to do it. And I think a lot of people do monogamy in a very toxic way. So like for them, jealousy is like a proof of love. And I don't I don't agree with that. I just don't.
Same.
I think letting people experience good things in life would be, even if it doesn't pertain you in that moment, is a show as an actual like display of love, more than like being like, no, you can only enjoy things with me. Like, it's just so bizarre.
You know, and we're both kind of saying enjoy things, and I think even though they talk about fidelity, I could understand kind of if you have made a promise to each other that you're only going to have sexual relations with each other. But then, you know, I mean, I can understand wanting to uphold that. But then there is this emotional jealousy that happens so often where you will suspect that your partner is falling out of love with you or sneaking around or lying if they enjoy someone else's company, if they have a close relationship of any kind with someone else, if they get any of their needs met somewhere else. It's like suddenly that's betrayal, and it blows my mind. And that is unhealthy. It's why a lot of marriages fail, because they're just, you know, trying to get the same energy from each other constantly.
It's unsustainable, I think.
It is. It's unsustainable if you don't bring in something from the outside to share together, and you're not always fighting over the same scraps of power, I guess. But you know, it's not that I don't know what jealousy is, because I have been very frustrated before when someone is disrespecting me in a friendship context.
Sure.
And so, you know, I mean, obviously, of course, it is always going to get misinterpreted as, oh, you liked him. And I'm like, no, I just don't like that he dropped off the face of the earth when he got a girlfriend. And suddenly I wasn't important at all. He never calls, never texts. And, you know, okay, now you think I sound like a jealous girlfriend and that I'm revealing something about my feelings for him, but I just don't want to lose my friend. Like, it's not weird.
I feel like it's a total normal reaction.
Yeah.
And like, even like within my friend group, you know, like if someone starts hanging out with another friend more than me, I might feel jealousy, but I have like I look inward to explain it. Like I self-evaluate of like, why am I actually feeling this? It's like, oh, because I think that person might be perceived as cooler than me, but like actually they're cool in this way and I'm cool in my own way, and there's no competition happening between us at all, you know? So you just have to
totally
self-evaluate more people.
And I think also that what you said reminds me that when people are acting like that, I like to give them a little buffer. I'm kind of like, okay, you found a new cool person. I'm going to let you squee over them for a while. If you start acting normal again and remember that you have other friends, hello, don't forget me. And that's, you know, that's cool. I understand kind of infatuation or that burst of awesomeness where you find somebody and you just want to learn about them and spend time with them, and it's great. And okay, you're not thinking about me. I'm a very patient person. It's fine, but don't like not call me for 2 years. And then like suddenly after you break up, you want to go sing karaoke or something. Like,
that's not how you treat friends.
Honestly, it's first of all that you haven't been in my life supporting me or giving me any of your side of the friendship for that whole time. And then secondly, it just makes me feel like I was something to do. I was a pastime.
Well, you're a placeholder until like the real relationship happens. Like, because like romantic or sexual relationships are supposed to be like, they're like the end all be all. So friendships are just like, they're like vague placeholders until you meet like the significant other. The one who's like, that's what it's all about. And then your friends don't matter anymore.
Are insignificant.
That's like, that's not something I've ever understood.
We don't have a lot of models for it though in our society, do we? Successful adult friendships that are not your coworker, not your business partner, not your kid.
True.
You know, and we're gonna get like billed as childish actually if we play with our friends.
Yeah, right. I feel like that is like a narrative in like Hollywood films, is like you need to grow up and like be all committed to this relationship, so you like can't go out and hang out with your friends anymore, because
Yeah.
that's not acting responsibly in your romantic relationship. And it's
just crap that you do because you haven't found what you're really on earth for yet.
yeah.
Which is
Oh man.
completely the opposite of how I feel. I mean, again, as a person that does not want a partner, I obviously am a little bit biased saying my life is awesome. Everybody should want an awesome life, that they enjoy their toys and their entertainment and do whatever they want. But it's categorized as childish for you to even still want friendships. But then you see adults who say, I'm really lonely, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm isolated. How do I make friends as an adult? And we don't have models for it
Yeah.
because you're shamed for wanting to do it. So you have to join a book club, or you have to join like a something that you're really there for the relationships, but you pretend it's for an interest that you may share, which is totally legit. Right. But people if they don't go to school anymore, and they don't have coworkers or don't like their coworkers, they're just like aren't adult places to meet people unless it's religious organizations, I think.
Religious or like bars, but I don't really like to do that either.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
Not a drinker. Yeah.
Not a drinker, and also it's very loud. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You can't have a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So why would I go? Just to have like drunk people yelling at me and like loud music?
Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't like that. I mean, I'll do it for maybe getting to go to karaoke or to see a friend's band or something.
I guess like a celebration of a friend, like of a friend celebrating something. I'll like stop by, but
yeah.
I'm really we have a really great poetry / dance / art community in my town, so that is my friend group, and they're really great, and I'm so glad I found them, because like when I first moved here, for like the first like 2 or 3 years, I didn't know they existed. And so I was just like kind of like, on my own. And then I found them, and I'm like, oh my God, there's all these brilliant, creative, inspiring people, and they want to be friends with me. What is happening?
That must have been awesome.
Yeah. It's so great.
It's so great to find your people,
Yes.
It really is. It's good stuff. Like I guess I mentioned the religious groups a minute ago, and then I realized that was my next planned question. So I'm going to grab that segue. You said that you had a pretty religious upbringing, and do you have anything to say about kind of how that affected your views on sex, like growing up and to the present?
Yeah, I mean, it's like in Oklahoma,
Oklahoma.
It's just, it's just a part of the culture. So like the majority of people I knew like believed in God, but they weren't like super religious. Like, and the church that I went to, I had a very positive church experience. I know a lot of people did not, because like the church I went to, they were legitimately good people trying to help people, and they didn't spout a lot of hateful ideologies. And if someone came out in our community, or if someone was going through a hard time with anything like drug use or homelessness, like they would rally to like help those people, not say like, we don't want you around now. So
that's great.
Which is, I understand now, is a very rare experience. Like looking back, like I think there was maybe like a white savior complex happening, and they were very naive in a lot of ways, but overall they were like very well-intentioned people. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing in our like youth group. We had a lot of couples that were like mentors, and they were all sex positive within marriage. So like, they weren't saying like sex is bad. They were saying just sex is great, but wait until you find your soulmate that God has planned for you, that somehow you're going to find out of like 7 billion people in the world. But anyways, so there were, so there's that. And I mean, obviously, as I said, like as a lot of us grew and we were like getting new perspectives in the world, and a lot of us were coming to terms with it being gay or queer or what anything along those lines. Obviously, the church, regardless of being sex positive within marriage, is still male, female, sex positive within marriage. So like very cis heteronormative, obviously. So it was around that same time where I was like, well, this really doesn't make sense with what I'm starting to learn about the world outside of the church. It's not like adding up really. So you know, they weren't saying anything hateful directly towards gay people, but at the same time, the models that they had in place were this one model, and like there's no wiggle room outside of that model. So this is the ideal we should all be going toward. Yeah, so that was kind of, because around the same time I was also like learning about like I'd never really read the news before, so I started reading like different news sources, and I was finding out like the bigger scope of like things happening in the world.
Yeah.
And like all of these atrocities and all of these like social justice issues that I just like had no context for growing up in Oklahoma. Yeah, so it was like, yeah, this great big awakening. Yeah, and that was a part of that whole process of being like, this is not a model that I know. I don't adhere to this anymore. I don't like idolize this anymore. Like I remember during church camp, we have like the boys' cabin and the girls' cabin, which now it's like, where would I be? Outside in a cot, I guess. Like I wouldn't even have anywhere to sleep there.
Get on the roof.
Yeah, right. And we had like these diaries and journals, and we would do these little workshops. And I remember one of the workshops was like writing down your list of like, you know, your soulmate, like what you want them to be like, and they have to be a godly man, and like how they walk in Christ, and then it was like, now how can you be what they would have on their list, because if you want this godly man, then you also have to be like this ideal godly woman who will support them in whatever they're doing, and so on and so forth. And oh boy,
that was alienating, huh?
A little bit. I mean, because like back then I still thought that I was female, and maybe still starting to question of like, I don't know about being straight, but I didn't examine it too much. So it's just, but now as looking back, it's like, oh, the ideas you're putting in like impressionable minds is a little troubling.
Yeah.
It's so restrictive, because like, I mean, these people could be brilliant people. They could be a different gender, they could be gay, and like, if you want them to experience this great love, but then their great love is like the same gender as them, then how does that align with what you're teaching them now? And like, if our main goal is to be a godly woman so that we can, the great achievement is to marry a godly man, that's like, well, what if we wanted to like be a scientist, or like go to space, or do like literally so many other things that doesn't involve having a good Christian husband? But that was like the ideal that was propped up, unfortunately.
Sure.
Oh boy.
This is what you obviously your future is going to look like this, so
right,
start getting used to it and thinking in terms, young children.
Yeah, right. It's so bizarre looking back.
They don't realize how much they groom us for heterosexuality. I think they really don't, because every time,
and that, like, not even just the church, but because like schools do it too. Because like obviously in sex ed, you're taught, like, at least our school, they're like, here's what STDs are, avoid them. Don't get pregnant. But there's nothing about like healthy relationships. There's nothing about like healthy friendships. There's nothing about same-sex relationships or same-sex sex. None of that obviously is covered. So even that is totally, the narrative is completely like cis heteronormative as well.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's really like a crash course, and the only thing they cover is straight vanilla sex.
Right. Yeah. Because like your options are to marry a man or to be like a crazy cat lady. Like there's no in between.
Yeah. And definitely, me being a cisgender woman, you having been gendered that way when you were younger, just by people who assumed that you were going to grow up and be a godly woman or whatever. It's weird because these same people will say, you're pushing queerness in our faces all the time, but look what you did. Like, they just don't think about how naturally and nonchalantly they shove heterosexuality down people's faces in the name of education, in the name of religion, and they're ignorant of it. They're completely oblivious that is
Well,
the
yeah.
message they're giving us.
There's a total double standard because, like, they'll say, oh, this movie that has gay teenagers kissing is completely inappropriate for children. But, like, if a boy kid talks to, like, a girl like, if a boy toddler talks to a girl toddler, they're like, ooh, like, you have a crush on her. You guys are going to grow up and date. It's like, that's a 4-year-old. That's weird. It's weird. And so, yeah, there's all double standards like that. Like, you were already pushing heteronormativity onto them when they're like toddlers. Yet like adults or teenagers that are gay is not child friendly.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bizarre.
Honestly, I think it's rooted in the idea that heterosexuality gets to be pure and sweet, and they don't think there's anything wrong with it ever. So they think it's adorable when a little boy and a little girl are holding hands. Aw, what if one day they got married? Wouldn't that be sweet? And it's like, that's almost explicitly sexualizing children.
Right. Yeah.
Or if you see a little boy baby and he is looking at a lady, it's like, oh, he's flirty. And I'm like, ooh, he's not flirty, he's a baby.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
kind of that like adults project onto children.
Yeah.
Just unknowingly too.
Right.
It's just so like ingrained. Like,
yeah.
I had a friend who had a boy, and like whenever like a Barbie commercial would come on, she'd be like, "Oh, you don't like that, do you? 'Cause that's for girls." And I was like, "What are you doing?
Ooh.
Why would you say that?" It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's very strange how most of it is less overt and they don't realize it, but sometimes when you see the really egregious manifestations of it, you're like, what are you doing? But I really think it does I don't think they're serious, they're not seriously thinking, oh, that little boy and that little girl are flirting or something, but they have no problem saying it because they don't think it's inappropriate at all to suggest, obviously both of them are going to grow up and be heterosexual and let's kid around about it because it's cute.
Right. But yeah.
We're not going to have that.
I mean, my little sister once got sent to the principal's office. I think she was in like the 3rd or 4th grade for kissing another girl on the cheek. Yeah. So it's just like that is condemnable, but yet having like if it was different genders, then it would be cute. But if it's the same gender, then it's like, oh, that's wrong and bad and it should be punished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and have this inappropriate behavior happening.
Right.
But it is so frequently pushed by people who claim that they're not homophobic, but they still, a lot of people who are straight, who have never questioned being straight, have had their whole life, they found a partner of a different gender and they're happy and everything. They don't realize that they're outing themselves as straight every time they have no problem talking about which hot movie star they like, or
Right.
mention their husband or whatever, like that. They're not in fear of it. Are they going to think I'm shoving my sexuality in their face? But
Right.
that's what we do if we mention same-sex partners. I mean, I'm kind of saying we because I do consider asexual people as part of the queer community, but
Sure.
I personally, I don't have partners to refer to, but I mean, for me, the farthest it really goes is if I go out with, my best friend who's female, people will assume we're just friends out on a, lunch date, and they'll ask us if we want to split the check. But if I'm with a man, they'll usually give the check to him because they assume he's taking me out.
Right.
It's
those things that it's not conscious, like so ingrained as being the norm that people don't, once again, people do not self-evaluate their own like preconceived notions of the world.
Right. But it's just really, it for me comes back to how frustrating it is when they say that we are shoving it in their face when we talk about it or mention it nonchalantly. And I'm like, do you have any idea how heterosexual you are?
Right. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it, but stop having a problem with me.
Right.
I just want what you have, to be allowed to talk about the way that my queer identity manifests, without you thinking that I'm making it uncomfortable or saying something inappropriate to you.
Like, if it's so natural to you in your life to be straight, then why can't it be like so natural to me in my life to be whatever else I am that isn't straight?
Yeah. That's right. And I understand that some people think certain details are private, but I'm not saying those things. I'm not telling you what I do or don't do in anybody's bed or what I'm attracted to. But, then a lot of these same people think it's okay to ask us really personal questions about our sex.
Oh, yeah.
Or like if we self-stimulate, or if we have toys, or if we like porn or whatever. And I'm like, wow, go away.
It's so inappropriate to ask people that.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's wild.
But suddenly we're clearly open to being asked stuff like that if we're talking about it at all. I'm like, no, you can find a more appropriate way to ask that, or look it up online where you're not talking to a person, and find out in general about asexual people's varied habits of difference. Right. So is what it is. Well, I don't want to go on too long without remembering to ask you a couple of questions that I want to make sure I ask everyone. Okay. And those are, first of all, just kind of a boilerplate question that I'm asking everyone is, for you personally, what do you think the hardest things about being ace have been?
I think thankfully, like, it doesn't happen that often, but there are obviously misconceptions. And for instance, there's like the invasive questions, or there's people that don't believe me because it's not often, but and especially used to be way more sexually active, and so people didn't believe that I could be asexual because I was sexually active.
Oh, okay.
And that was just, it's obnoxious. And and I especially, I mean, now and then I didn't really have a way to explain to them, and also because I don't think they actually want to have an actual answer. I think they want to just be like, gotcha, like, you can't be asexual. And basic questions about like my relationships, like, if you wouldn't ask anyone else that has a quote unquote normal relationship these questions, so like you don't get to ask me personal questions about my relationship and what we do or don't do. It's just so bizarre. And then also, I mean, this happens, I guess, more on, I haven't experienced this in person, but I've heard other people talk about it, especially like getting flack at pride events, or I thankfully have never had that happen, but I live in a smaller town, and the prides I go to are smaller, and I think I do wear my ace flag. I think a lot of people don't know what it means, and so therefore I don't get a lot of flack, but I do think if I had the word like asexual, maybe then I would get more flack about it. which is unfortunate. But it was really nice. At the last Pride I went to, there I saw like a bunch of like middle schoolers and high schoolers wearing ace flags, and I'm like, I didn't have this language when I was your age, and it's just so nice to see that you have like the tools and the resources available to you that I didn't have. Like it just warms my heart.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Beautiful. Oh gosh, yeah, seeing youth like being able to express themselves like that and knowing that it's out there for them. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and then like there's expectations, because I'm a very flirtatious person. I like flirting and I like kissing. But that's it. Like for me, kissing is the end goal. Not like, I think a lot of people are like allosexual people, kissing is like foreplay to having sex. No. For me,
I'm gonna kiss them. That's it.
Kissing or like making out, to me that's the end game. I'm like, yes, that's fun for me. I like it. I mean, if they're good at it, but you know, that depends. But because of that, because I am very flirtatious, and because I do like to kiss, people assume therefore that I want to do other things, even when I do explicitly say I don't. I'm not interested in it. It's not anything I want from you. Like if I'm going on a date and like I'm flirting, but like on any dating profiles I have, or if I meet people in real life, I do tell them before any date, like I do not want to have sex. I don't want to fool around. I don't want any, like, here's like, we can hold hands, and beyond that, like, you shouldn't touch me anywhere. But people assume like on the actual date, because I'm flirtatious or like I like to kiss, that they assume that what I said before is I was just being like over exaggerating or something, and that now in real life I suddenly want these things that before I directly said I didn't want. Or they assume like they're the exception, you know. I don't want to have sex, but with you suddenly now I do, without me ever having said anything to that effect. People just make that assumption. Yeah. Because I'm a flirtatious person. So that's very frustrating, and you know, a lot of disappointed people, but like what are you gonna do? Like I told you beforehand, and now there's like a guilt thing that kind of happens too, of like, of course, I'm the fun ruiner because I don't want to do this. And it's like, I feel like we were having a lot of fun, like dancing or bowling or doing whatever it is we were doing, watching stuff and like laughing and having a good time. And like, that's what I said I wanted to do. That's what we're doing. You're the one who's trying to take it in this different direction, and because I say no, I'm bringing the mood down or something, and it's just like, what about you? People, yeah, they just like they don't take you for your word. They just make all these assumptions that they can like change you, or that like once you're around them, that they can like make you want to do these things, make you in the mood to do these things, and it's like, no. Doesn't work that way. I'm so sorry. Honestly, the stuff that you described there, it's like I'm almost kind of the polar opposite of you with regard to flirtiness or desire for intimacy or anything. I'm not experienced or interested in any of those things, and yet I've heard some of the same things, because we can't win. Of course not. Because they're like, well, if you don't desire anybody or anything, then you're selfish for not performing the sex act on me, because it should be neutral for you, unless I got you, unless you're actually afraid or hate men. And I'm like, yeah, you figured it out. Shut up. Like, what a detective you are. You figured it out. Yeah. And I mean, on the other end of the spectrum, you have someone like you who's being told the same thing, that because you flirted, you wanted me. You must have wanted me that way, regardless of what you said. So, I mean, honestly, I think they think they got us, but we've got them. The end goal is always, you must want to have sex with me, because everything you do is a sign you want to have sex with me. Yeah, it's funny, because they think so highly of themselves that like they have figured us out in the short time of talking to us that we never could have figured out in our whole lives of being us and experiencing what we've experienced. Yet they somehow have figured it all out, And then we have been not knowing about ourselves this whole time. So glad they came along to tell us what we were really thinking and feeling.
Yeah. Well, the first time I got that, like, actually very, very seriously was when I was only 19, granted, but like there was a guy who was straight up telling me that I have never had someone as perfect for me as him, as intellectually arousing or whatever he said he was. And I'm just like, number one, why do you think you're so great? Like, you were not any cup of tea, like, really. I mean, you're the one begging me, so why do you think that you're so great? Like,
right.
Can't you have your pick of women if you're such an amazing suitor? But he was so convinced that he was the one, and I just needed to admit it at this point because he was going to show me something amazing. And I'm like, the fact that you're saying these things to me is very, very scary, because I told you the opposite and you're not listening. And it's not sexy or cute or anything but scary when you tell me that you don't believe me about my feelings. I don't want to be alone with you. So.
It's just, the amount of like self-delusion is just, it's impressive almost. It's just like, because like you claim that you're so good for me, but wouldn't someone who's so good for me care about my feelings?
Yeah, you'd think, but we're supposed to be passive in this situation. We are supposed to accept their interest.
Right. Yeah.
It's something done to us that we
should be grateful that they're even looking our direction, because they're so amazing.
Yeah. That just reminded me of many, many years later. And I've talked about this. I know I've talked about this because I did a letter on it on my channel, but there was shortly after I was in some really big media piece that got reshared in a bunch of international media places. I got marriage proposals from men in Nigeria. And one of them straight up said to me, "No woman has ever looked at me and not felt something." And I'm like, why are you begging me in a Facebook message for my hand in marriage then? Like, you don't understand how this doesn't logically shake out? Right? No sense.
Like, yeah, women look at you and they feel something. It's disgust that they're feeling.
Yeah. And he said he was 35. And I just thought, you're 35 years old and you're talking to a woman who's of a similar age. I think I was around that age at that time. And you think that I'm going to believe you, that you saw my picture on the internet and you knew I was the one, and you're some kind of Don Juan, but you're 35 and you're asking a stranger to marry you.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to think highly of that.
Like, doesn't add up. Does not add up.
Mm-mm. I still wonder about that guy sometimes, because he was so smug after I told him that he was behaving in such an inappropriate manner, and he kept telling me, "Look, I know that you cry yourself to sleep out of loneliness at night. I know what you do. I know how you feel. You may not admit it because you need to put on a strong face to your followers, but we both know that you are lonely, and one day you will admit it, and when that happens, because it will, ma'am, come find me." And I'm like, I wonder if he's still out there, like, waiting for me to come to him. I'm just like,
oh boy.
I wonder about that. I really do wonder about that guy sometimes. And A, how many women he said this to, and B, like, if he's single.
It's like you're projecting. So I think you're the one who's crying because you're lonely, because you're the one who's messaging strangers on the internet to marry you.
Yeah.
That's something a lonely person would do.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think that men like that, and it is, I guess, largely a male phenomenon, because you get a lot of this. Guy hits on a girl, says, "Oh, you're hot and I want to be with you," and the girl says, "No, not interested," and then he's like, "Ugly bitch." So I feel like there's a lot of this. I need to punish you for your
If
rejection.
I'm such an ugly bitch, then why did you message me in the first place?
Right. He just like
Like,
I guess, but that he must have wanted me to feel really inferior and to feel like I'm being schooled or something. And
right.
I don't really understand the psychology of that, because if you make me feel crappy and you make me feel beaten down and awful because of you, why do you feel like that is going to result in me saying, you're right, you were right all along, please come to the United States and marry me?
Oh, you have to laugh, I guess, because it's just so outside of reality.
Yeah. And at that point, I just don't think he was realistically imagining that it could still happen. So he just needed to take me apart brick by brick. And I mean, it doesn't work because you don't know what dissolves my mortar, but you know,
Yeah.
He was trying so hard, and it doesn't make me feel the way that he wanted it to feel for me, but it did make me feel something. It made me feel kind of despair at the idea that somebody really, really wants me to be in pieces.
Yeah.
Because I didn't say yes to being his partner to a stranger. Anyway, but he knows best. He's the chosen one. So.
Of course.
So have fun being chosen by someone else, whatever.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the flip side of this. What are the best things about being ace for you?
Oh man. I think the community is awesome. There's a very small local community in my town. Like whenever, when things were open, we would do like a monthly crafting hangout. And there's usually only like 3 to 4 of us, but still it's like, even that
awesome.
Is nice because there's no other asexuals in my poetry community. So like being able to talk to other asexual people was just so nice, even if it was like once a month.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing. And I think it's not a direct, what's the word I'm thinking of, symptom or like consequence, but at least it is for me, is that like I don't care what people think about how I look, so I don't have to there's no beauty standards that I feel pressured to adhere to in order to be attractive to people, because I don't care if I am or not. Yeah. So thankfully I don't have to adhere to any feminine or at all type of beauty standards, which is very refreshing. And because I remember being a teenage girl and having to try to be pretty or feminine or whatever to get the male gaze or male attraction or whatever. And now I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to. I wear makeup to express myself, but I don't have to worry about how I look to other people. Mm-hmm. And also I feel like because I know people that do this subconsciously, is they only want to hang around people that they are attracted to. I don't really have to do that, which I think gives me a higher chance of meeting interesting people that aren't people I'm attracted to. I feel like it narrows your field so much if you're only, even subconsciously, choosing to be around people that are attractive to you. Some people probably do it intentionally, which is kind of mean, but I think a lot of people do it subconsciously, but I've never really had to worry about that aspect either. So it works both ways. People don't have to adhere to a beauty standard to be around me, and I don't have to adhere to a beauty standard and care what people think about me in that way. Mm-hmm. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some kind of gendery stuff going on too with the beauty standards, like you mentioned, that once you just say I'm not going to let somebody decide that I need to look this way to look feminine or this way to look masculine. Right. Or even like there are some people who, you know, when they say, okay, my gender identity is a non-binary identity, so I need to look androgynous. Like there's a lot of people who feel like they have to. And they really, I mean, they don't. You can be femme and be androgynous. You can be mask, or you can be nothing, or you can be switching around, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm all over the place, and especially because like I'm an artist, and like my style is kind of like color and pattern vomit everywhere, and it's like a lot of mismatched stuff. So it's like I hope people think I look weird. And I don't care if because I look weird, they're not attracted to me. I don't have to. I can just be as bright and loud as I want to be, and I don't have to worry about people thinking I'm weird, and therefore they're not going to want to date me or sleep with me or anything.
Right. Yeah.
I could like people tell me about beauty norms and beauty standards when it comes to like dating, whether it be like gay or heteronormative, and some of it blows my mind. Like my friend was telling me that like because he's short, a lot of like straight women won't date him because they have a height standard, and like stuff like that blows my mind.
Me too.
I can't even imagine like I'm not going to talk to you because you're not like over 6 feet.
Yeah.
I just don't what being a certain height doesn't affect your personality. So I don't, it's so bizarre.
It is really kind of baffling, I think. I think for me, the one is hair removal, shaving and eyebrows. I'm like, what? You do what? Like, but, you know, there's a lot of it is, I guess, specifically for women. Like I'm a cis woman, so people are like, of course, even if you are not trying to attract anyone or stay pretty for anyone, then you're still expected to pluck your eyebrows into a line and shave your legs. And I'm like, why though?
It's like when I remember when I first stopped shaving my legs and my armpits, and like the biggest comment was like, oh, that's gross. And I'm like, but you don't call it gross when guys have hair on their legs. So why is my skin and hair on my legs different than the one over here?
Yeah.
It does not
unsanitary.
When you apply logic to it, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That this one scenario would be considered gross, but this one isn't, if they both are the same levels of hygiene. If I take a shower, then it's clean hair on my legs, not gross hair on my legs. So it's just like, if you logically think about it, your objections make no sense. And even when I was in a relationship and I didn't shave my legs, I remember this like kind of drunk girl being like, you don't shave your legs? I was like, no, like what a waste of my time. And she was like, and your boyfriend doesn't care? And I'm like, no, why would he? I just like, it's so bizarre. I was just like, yeah, no, he doesn't care because the hair on my legs doesn't affect our relationship.
Yeah, it's just there. It's hair, and I don't know. There is a lot of pressure for anybody who's dating anybody that sometimes they feel like they have to present a certain way, and like when you're not really trying to get anybody who thinks that way. I mean, obviously it's not just aces or aromantics or non-binary people or whatever that are freed from these things if they choose to be. But, you know, I think that it does influence us to be like, I don't want to be seen by straight men as an attractive woman for that purpose. Like, you know, there's all this other stuff that kind of goes into wanting to be sanitary or wanting to, you know, have good hygiene and everything, look presentable and all that stuff. But that is not related to being sexually attractive for me. So I'm just like, well, I'm not, I have no connection to any need to remove body hair or whatever. Like, why does someone have to feel like that's an expected part of what I should do?
Well, also, like, because like even if you're allosexual, your leg hair, if you are sexually active, your leg hair has nothing to do with like the sexual process. So it's like it doesn't inhibit you from having sex. Great sex. Like I just it's totally doesn't make any sense. Just like if you are a female having sex with a male, if the male's hair on his legs doesn't deter the sex, then why would the hair on your leg? It just like doesn't add up.
It doesn't. Nope. But they do sometimes try to make it a hygiene issue. Like, oh, that's, like you said, like, that's gross. It's like, why is it? It's not grosser. It's not less hygienic for somebody, you know, for somebody who is assigned female at birth is not grosser for having hair.
Right. Also, like, I have hair on my arms. Why is this not gross, but the hair on another part of my body is gross? Like, do the logic, people. Yeah.
You know, I did last year and the year before, I did some cosplay where I went to a convention dressed as Stevani, which, you know, you're wearing a Universe shirt, so you know what that is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not a non-binary person, but I was playing one. And I was wondering, you know, since I don't shave my legs, I was wondering, okay, I'm in these little shorts and, you know, I don't have super visible hair, but I had not shaved. I can't remember the last time I've done it. And I was wondering if anyone was going to give me crap about it, or whether they would kind of be like, oh, well, she's playing a they, so maybe that's part of the costume. And it's like, it's not, but I wondered if that would sort of protect me from weird comments, like, you're supposed to be lady presenting, and I'm like, well, I'm not I'm not lady presenting.
It's not the character. Yeah,
not the character. Exactly. You know, I mean, it was beside the point.
Right. Yeah.
I wondered if I was going to get crap for it, and I didn't. Nobody said anything, but, you know, mostly cosplayers are pretty cool. Like, there's a lot weirder there than a girl with hairy legs.
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
You know, and I mean, again, it's not like, it wasn't super obvious that that's, you know, that I hadn't shaved, but, you know, if somebody looked at it, they could be like, oh, you know, she's got hair on her legs. And I'd be like, problem?
Right. That goes back to like what we were talking about earlier, of like how it doesn't affect your life at all. Just like me being ace doesn't affect your life. So like me having hair on my legs also does not affect your life at all. Like, why does it bother you so much? I think like people being ace or being like on the LGBTQIA spectrum, or like being not following stereotypical gender norms, it challenges their own notions, and like it challenges their, like, what they've lived in their whole lives and like everything they've been taught. And so people don't like meeting challenges about their worldview that is already so ingrained in them. So I think when they see people, they're like, that's different, and I don't want to have to think about it, so I'm going to direct all of my confusion to you, right, in a hateful way.
I'm going to say something against it because I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have to like change or question things I've been taught. So you're different than what I've been taught. Therefore, you are the bad thing.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of ties into my next question, which is about activism. So like you said, you go to like an ACE meetup and stuff, and I guess, you know, are involved somehow with ACE community related stuff. I'm curious what you think about like what kind of ACE activism type things that you currently do, and what you'd like to see in the world of ACE activism, if you have opinions about it.
Yeah, so there's the local community, and then I follow a lot of ACE people on YouTube and Instagram, ACE artists, because I'm an artist, so that's like my main interest. Yeah. I've made my own videos in the past during like Asexual Awareness Week, and especially during that week, I post a lot on Facebook, which isn't my main, like, the majority of people I hang out with on Instagram or in my poetry community, they're like, you know, woke, you know, so they know a lot about like, you know, the gender spectrums and different sexualities, whereas Facebook is a lot more of like coworkers and family from Oklahoma and like people that don't have as broad of a experience spectrum.
Oh, I see.
And so I do try during that week especially to like promote a bunch of like asexual artists and asexual people that express it more eloquently than I feel that I do, because it's a lot of work, and I don't have a lot of the spoons to do it. So I'm like, here, listen to this person talk about it instead of me, because they're saying it way better. And I mean, I think the biggest thing or I guess there's like it's a two-pronged ace representation in the media could be more. They could be more in volume, and it could be better represented. There's a lot of representation of they are heartless, or they don't feel anything. It's not just that they don't feel like sexual or romantic attraction; they don't feel anything at all towards they're sociopaths, essentially. Sociopaths, murderers, or they're geniuses, which is just like, also I'm not, so just let me be like dumb and making art over here. I don't, because then it puts an expectation of like you have to be this certain way, you have to be super smart or super intelligent, or autistic is another like tie-in, which is not always the case,
right?
Or like or that it's a fixable thing. That's a common thing, is like they do meet that like one person that suddenly now they're not asexual, or suddenly now they're not aromantic, or it's like done as a joke. Ooh, that's always bad and not fun at all. And then like the second prong is like corrective therapy, or corrective rape, or anything along that line happens to us too, as well as gay people. So yeah, that is a real and direct threat to our physical well-being in life. So I mean,
if we could have like more resources and more focus on the fact that this can happen in an ace context.
Indeed. So yeah, those two things I think are the biggest things that people should be more aware of, because I think when people hear about asexuality, I think the general response, like, who cares? Like, no one cares if you're not having sex. Like, no one really cares. So like, why even talk about it? Like, you don't need activism, or like you don't need awareness, essentially. But we have known cases of people dying, maybe not directly, but partly because of asexuality, or violence being done to them because of asexuality. So yeah, it is a real thing that we experience. So yeah.
Right. It's tied to compulsory sexuality, which is very much a thing for many, many people that, like we were talking about before, that we're considered selfish or holding out on someone if we don't offer this in a relationship, or even outside of one. Like, how dare you be hot or be someone I desire and not give it to me? So, I mean, obviously that is sometimes going to manifest in violence, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And, I've heard a couple times, and this is, obviously also something that can happen to people who are not female, but would be gendered that way or perceived that way by people who want you or whatever, that certain demographics are more likely to be targeted as like owing a partner in that way, and that they will approach us and say, like you said, the idea of fixing you or whatever, and we might not get the attention on he did that or he said that because I'm ace. It will always be, well, because you're a woman, or he thought you were a woman, or he was perceiving you as a woman. And so it's really misogyny, not ace phobia. But we can't bring those apart from, like, as a cis woman who is an asexual, aromantic woman, there are a lot of things that are tied in with being female and being perceived that way, like what feminine life is to like straight men who see me a certain way and see me as being on this earth for a certain reason.
Yep.
I can't separate those parts from me being a queer woman or being ace or being aromantic or being white or being Jewish. Like,
right.
I will always be all of those things. And
right.
like, I can't say, well, everything that happened to me is only because I'm a woman. I mean, that's one of the most obvious things, but I can't say like none of it is owed to me being a queer identity. Like, of course it is.
Right. And that's like people needing things to be so black and white, but it's like, no, an attack happening because someone is ace and a woman, those can happen for the same, it can happen for both of those reasons at the same time.
Yes.
I mean, just like, I think people who might be sexually attracted to me, they want me to be allosexual because they're attracted to me, and they want me to be a woman because they're attracted to me and they're attracted to women. And the fact that I'm not a woman and I'm not a sexual person bothers them. So like it's both at the same time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
yeah, I mean, one of the guys that I mentioned earlier, the one who I talked about when I was 19, and he was telling me that he was gonna be the one. He's the only person that I've met that could possibly equal me in intellectual whatever, but he started acting like that after I told him that I was asexual. He started telling me, oh, well, you're going to need me to break you out of that, you know, kind of thing. It was
break you out of it.
to break me out of this cocoon that he believed I was in. And it became very pointed and very targeted after I came out to him, after I gave him the talk. But that's probably also because I had just met him, and I guess halfway through eating at Denny's, I realized he thought we were on a date, and I was not on a date. So, but it wasn't like at that time, it did not register to me as a negative experience. Like, I just told him, oh, this is how I live my life. This is how I perceive romance and sex and all that stuff. And he didn't seem to have a problem with it until like a little later in the evening. And all of a sudden, I was his mission. And it was in the language that he used against me that he needed to fix me, and he needed to, you know, it's the same kind of thing that a lot of lesbians will hear, is that, you know, they need a man to teach them. And it's not something that won't happen to us. And also, like you were saying, like there's a lot of stuff that can and does happen to asexual people that'll be ignored, and not no spotlight will be put on it, the way that, you know, you might hear more violent things happening to kind of more well-known LGBT identities. People will say, who cares about you, because no one has a problem with you. You know, here, there's the people who say no one has a problem with you, and then over here are all the people who have a problem with us. So
I mean, sometimes it's the same people. It's the same people that are saying who cares, like no one cares, and like you know, no one wants to hear you talking about, are the same people that are literally negatively targeting us. So there's just no, I feel like there's just no talking sense and logic to them.
I agree. I got a commenter once who said, I don't believe for a second that this is an issue that needs to be talked about. But besides that, you know, how come I've never seen one single asexual person who is attractive? You're all fat, you're all ugly, you're all homely, you're all messed up in some way, you know. How come I've literally never seen a single one of you who is hot? And I'm like, wow!
All right. I mean, it's funny because like that's meant to be an insult, but once again, I don't care if you think I'm attractive. So if you think I'm the ugliest person on earth, literally I don't care. It does not offend me if you think that, because it does not affect my life how you view me physically. It's just
and like first of all, like if you know, if there's an asexual person who is fat person, it's like, that is a neutral noun. You're the one making it into an insult. But like, then all these other things, you're ugly, whatever, like, okay, maybe some of us are less normatively attractive. Maybe some of us are more normatively attractive, but scroll down a little and you'll see plenty of commenters trying to get into our pants. So I don't think the problem is that we can't get anyone, because it's, what are the standards really? I mean,
exactly.
Plenty of ugly people having sex, and it's clearly not that hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just,
if we wanted to, we would be doing it.
More than likely. You know, I mean, I don't want to completely write off the fact that there are plenty of people who struggle with finding partners, and some of them struggle with that because of their physicality some way, but it's also categorically not true that like there are no hot aces and that's really our problem. It's like, no, actually our quote problem, or our reason for not connecting certain ways, is that we don't desire people that way, and that is all you have to swallow.
Indeed. Oh boy.
It's about us, not about whether we could get it. So that's completely irrelevant.
Right.
It's but I am preaching to the choir right now, aren't I?
Right? But sometimes that's nice. Like, that's what I like about having the group, is that we could just get together and complain about like the aloes, and just be like, just for a little bit, and just to like get it out of our system. And it's just nice to like rant about it for a little bit. Yeah.
And I think that sometimes that can also be constructive, because we see what they're raised with. That's what we're raised with too. We're raised to believe that, you know, everybody finds happiness this way. And if that happens to dovetail with the desires that you are having, then I can see it being really compelling. But not all of us are feeling that. So, but I think it does hurt them too. Just like, you know, maybe we'll talk about feminism, and we can also acknowledge that toxic masculinity hurts dudes. But
it totally does. But they don't. They are blind to that. Like, this is hurting you too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it more often will hurt women, but it doesn't mean that there aren't disadvantages. So yeah, it's cool to be able to talk to other asexual people about things that affect you, and also in a like more non-judgmental atmosphere where nobody's going to be sitting there and being like, oh, I resemble that remark, you've hurt me now. You know, so it's sounds nice. And that's that's just like a ace spectrum local group for y'all.
And it's a pretty small, and they do virtual meetings now as well. So it's a nice little resource. People can talk about their experiences, and the three people that I hung out with the most are also non-binary. So there's like, it's such an interesting overlap in like gender nonconformity and asexuality, which is quite interesting.
That is really cool. You know, I'm not a very social person myself, so most of the activism I have done has been in the form of like content creation. I really like talking to people individually, but I don't have a lot of just kind of desires to have companionship, I guess. So I've gone to very few of these kinds of things. But I remember that the first time that I went to a conference, the main panel that we had a cisgender aromantic woman, which is me. We had a gay gray sexual cis man. And then we had two non-binary people, and they both used they, them, and they both presented very different from each other. One kind of came off very femmy with like skirts and glitter, and the other one was in like a suit and bow tie. And I was like, it was my first exposure to being in a lot of consistent contact with people who identified as non-binary, and I learned a lot of stuff from being like, wow, this is so great. Like, I knew in theory that there were people who presented that way and felt that way, but I was like, I'm so glad that I get to be part of this group that is diverse in this way, so that I can learn from them and I can understand kind of how their gender identity being outside of the norm and outside of the binary interacts with them being asexual in a way that I never experienced. It was really great. Because like you were saying, there's kind of like, there's 3 other people in your group that are all non-binary, and I imagine they all have a different way of presenting that.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It's very interesting. But it's also, it's nice because like I could basically say I opt out of sexuality and I opt out of gender. Just I'm gonna check no for both of them.
Gender, no. Sex, no.
No.
Yeah. If I may ask, do the other non-binary people, do they all use they them pronouns, or do anybody use like neo pronouns, or just curious?
I know one of them was Zimzers.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah.
I like that.
That was the only other one. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It seems like they them is the most common one these days, and a lot of people really struggle with remembering it, which I feel like, you know, if you can learn somebody's name and you can learn somebody's favorite foods and stuff, you can learn their pronouns, but you know.
Yeah, and it's I tell people, like, I'm like, if you have to use a gendered pronoun, then use male pronouns, because like at least then still it's gender non-conforming for me. Yeah. It's still gender queer-esque, you know.
I see.
And that would feel better to me. So and it's one of those things that's like people use they and them when they don't know the gender of a person all the time.
They do.
So
yeah. Stop pretending that it's a grammar thing.
Yeah. And like I know people forget, people mess up, it's fine. And like I would prefer them to just be like sorry and move past it, but then it's worse when people over apologize.
Yeah, I've heard people say that. It's like, oh, it's awkward. Yeah.
Well, they're just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and it's just like, okay, I get it. Like, you don't need to like castrate yourself because you
please
like
don't.
Yeah. So I just be cool about it. Everyone just be cool.
Yeah. It's not. I once had a conversation with someone about why, when I wrote an article one time, and I was using hypothetical people to talk about some unrelated stuff, and in some of them I said she, and in some of them I said he, and in some of them I used a neo pronoun. I said Z, and somebody was asking me, why did you do that? What is that? I mean, I kind of get it, but why did you choose that? And, you know, so I just got into a conversation about, well, I just, you know, I used this pronoun because I'm just talking to hypothetical people, and some people don't have a binary gender. So I just decided to throw a couple of those in there. And there started to be this conversation about they, them versus kind of neo pronouns. And I don't want to say like I made a mistake, but I made the mistake of saying part of the reason I like neo pronouns better than they, them in this context is that English sentences flow around it in the same grammar format as typical singular pronouns. And
Indeed,
somebody thought that I was claiming that I couldn't use they, them pronouns. And I'm like, I'm literally not saying that. Like elsewhere in the same essay, I'm like, no, I absolutely will use somebody's preferred pronouns. I'm just saying as a cis person who doesn't have an important opinion about like their own pronouns, you know, I'm just saying why I chose to use these pronouns for a hypothetical person. Obviously, for a real person, I will always use the pronouns you tell me to. And I don't know if they thought I was saying some things, what was it? Like something flippant when I said, like, if a squirrel gendered person wanted me to use squim, I would use squim if squee wanted me to, or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, I got some pushback on that because people were kind of misinterpreting what I said because I said the grammar thing. And that just sounds too close to words that people actually have said, like, this isn't in the dictionary. And it's like, first of all, it is. They, them has been a legit singular pronoun since like, what, the 1300s?
Right.
But, and I wasn't making that argument, but I've kind of became aware through that conversation that if you say something that's too close to the grammar argument,
right,
people will think you're making it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be associated with that because I am like an editor, but I am never going to enforce that on somebody. Like, I'm not going to edit anything unless you pay me. Please pay me.
But this is why I made the decision in this one instance. I'm not saying this needs to be applied to everyone in every instance. Like, there's a difference, you know?
Right. And over time, like, actually, I mean, this was before I had in-person interaction with a large contingent of non-binary people, and almost all of the ones that I've been friends with since then do use they, them, and it became more natural in my head than the neopronouns. And now kind of my idea of it, of what sounds more natural, is kind of flipped. But so I would use they, them as a default more commonly now than I did then. But either way, it's like both of them are legit. So it's just sometimes you just, and I also got accused in a comment once of that, because I've been hurt by men who just want to have sex with me and stuff, that I think every man who asks me questions like this that are really disrespectful, that they must all be after my sex parts. And I'm like, no, I am reacting to what you said. I haven't just been, oh, you've been hurt, and this sounds too much like the things that other people who hurt you said. And I'm like, no, that's not what's going on here. But I do recognize that sometimes there's sort of language that people are like, oh, you said that, you made a joke about an amoeba and you weren't really kidding.
Right. You have to take things by case basis. Like, it's not not everything has to be this big blanket statement to be applied to every situation. Like, I can be directly reacting to you, not everyone else in my past. Like, it doesn't have to.
I guess they just, the person thought that I was overreacting to what they considered to be a really innocuous comment. And I took it as like, wow, you said something extremely ignorant. And I reacted in kind, and they're like, whoa, honey. I'm like, gosh.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Love that. When you were like, I mean, that's how microaggressions work. Like, you get told the same thing over and over again,
right?
And then it starts to build up, and that's why you explode. But to them, they're just like, oh, I just said something totally innocent, and you're totally freaking out on me. And it's like, it's because I've heard this so many times.
Yes. And,
it's frustrating.
Exactly. And they may think that this is a pretty tame thing to say to me, but that just shows some ignorance. Like, you shouldn't be commenting on my educational videos before you educate yourself. So it's on you, man. So anyway, let's see, the question list is kind of at an end. I would like to know do you have anything else you want to follow up on and talk about before we, wrap up the interview portion?
I feel like I tried to think of things before and I couldn't think of anything. I was like, I'll just go with the flow. So.
We got a lot of fun digressions though. I like all the stuff that we got to talk about that was in between. But before I kind of do a closing or whatever, I was, if you have anything that you want to, if you wanted to share with the commenters or anything about if you have any art sites or anything like that, any type of art that you do, you'd be welcome to share that with them. Do you think that you have any kind of ACE friendly cool stuff that people would be into?
Well, I make digital art, and that's mostly on Instagram. It's at yaelaed art. I can send you links too, so you can do the magic and make the links appear somewhere.
That is what I will do.
Yeah, and then I have a booktube channel. eventually I'm going to make videos about other things like hypersensitivity and non-binary and ACE, but right now it's just books.
Okay.
That's all I have spoons to think about right now.
Totally fine.
And there are some years old videos on my channel too that are about that type of stuff as well, so people can check that out. And I don't know what the link is at the moment, so I'll send it to you, but people can check that out.
Yeah, I'll definitely be, loading up the information field for anybody who just wants to connect or see any cool stuff. But some people have no social media and no nothing, and some people are just like, and here's all the recommendations for everything I ever wanted to tell anyone, and I'm happy to learn as long as it doesn't character limit.
I'll send you. I just got a Redbubble, so it's like
cool
merchandise, my art on things that you can buy, and all of my proceeds from that are going to a bail fund for trans protesters, Black trans protesters. So so if people want to have my art on a mug or a pillow or a shirt, and then also all of the money is going towards bail funds for protesters. So
yes, for the cause. And also get cool stuff.
See, win-win, everyone wins.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out myself. So but it might be a while between when we're recording this and when we're posting this, so
as it goes.
Yes, that would be awesome. Okay, so I guess I will just talk to the faceless audience here and say, like, thanks for watching us and everything. But also thank you to you, yaelaed, thank you for coming onto my channel and like being a specimen.
Yes.
Like,
I am
really
in
enjoyable
right now.
Huh?
I am in the petri dish.
Yeah, let me get my magnifying glass. I think we got a pretty good look at you though. It was a blast, just like I figured. So
thank you for like opening this up. It's such a fun idea for a series.
I think it's going to go on to become something a lot of people are going to learn a lot from, and plus it's just fun for us.
Heck yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening to us, and we'll see y'all next time. And if anybody wants to have an interview like this, just get in my comments and get in my email.